Matt was happily married to Louise, a warm-hearted homemaker, and together with their 2 children and pets, they led a content life in their small town. Despite not being wealthy, they cherished their family bond and found joy in each other's company. However, their family was soon to expand in an unexpected way. One morning, as Matt set out early to the garage to prepare his boat for the upcoming spring season, he was greeted by a surprising sound. Amidst the quiet of the garage, he heard a faint meow, causing him to pause in confusion. Initially dismissing it as his imagination, he resumed his task, only to hear the mew again, closer this time. Although the family had a cat, she typically avoided the garage, making the source of the sound puzzling. Listening intently, Matt pinpointed the mew emanating from his boat. Curious, he approached and lifted the cover, revealing a tiny bundle of fur nestled inside. Matt was taken aback, his heart melting at the sight of the tiny creature. He cautiously extended his hand, inviting the kitten closer, but it darted away, wary and untrusting. Understanding the kitten's fear, Matt spoke gently, assuring him of safety. "Hey, it's okay. I won't hurt you. You're safe with me," he whispered. Miraculously, the kitten seemed to sense Matt's sincerity and allowed him to approach and pick him up. Matt was surprised by how small the kitten was, and as soon as he held him, the kitten closed his eyes and lay still, appearing almost lifeless. Concerned, Matt abandoned his cleaning plans and brought the kitten inside to show Louise. Overwhelmed by the kitten's fragile state, Louise quickly assessed the situation. She recognized that the kitten was likely hungry and cold. They decided to feed him and wrap him in a warm blanket, hoping he would recover soon. Louise attempted to feed the kitten milk from a bottle, but he drank very little. They gently covered him with a blanket and let him rest. While he slept, they learned from their neighbors that the kitten, whom they nicknamed Whisker due to his prominent whiskers, was born in a garage nearby. The owner of the garage had been caring for feral cats in the area, including Whisker's mother during her pregnancy. After a few days, the couple learned more about Whisker's past. Shortly after his birth, Whisker had tragically lost his mother and a littermate. The mother was found dead, and the sibling had been killed by a vehicle. Whisker had gone missing, and the garage owner had presumed he had also passed away. However, Whisker had actually sought refuge in Matt's boat. As evening approached and Whisker's condition showed no improvement, Louise and Matt grew increasingly worried. They hurriedly took Whisker to a veterinarian, who diagnosed him with an upper respiratory infection. The couple was devastated by the news, as they had already grown attached to Whisker in the short time he had been with them. The veterinarian decided to keep Whisker overnight for observation and started him on antibiotics. He instructed the couple to return the next day for further test results. Although they returned home, sleep eluded them that night. In the middle of the night, Louise turned to Matt with tears in her eyes, expressing her fear for Whisker's well-being. Matt comforted her, urging her to remain hopeful and assuring her that everything would be all right. The following morning, the couple intended to visit the clinic to check on Whisker. However, they were met with a series of unexpected emergencies that delayed their departure. By the time they arrived at the clinic, it was already afternoon. Upon entering the room where Whisker was being kept, Matt and Louise greeted him warmly. Upon hearing their voices, Whisker briefly opened his eyes before closing them again. This unexpected reaction surprised the vet, as Whisker had kept his eyes shut throughout the night. It seemed that hearing his new owner's voices had momentarily lifted his spirits and given him the strength to respond. The vet shared the results of Whisker's examination with the couple, revealing that he had fading kitten syndrome, a condition common in neonatal kittens that is often fatal. The syndrome can be caused by various factors, including infections, extreme temperatures, congenital abnormalities, or poor nutrition, which Whisker likely experienced before being found. Despite the grim prognosis, the couple refused to give up on Whisker. They continued his treatment at home, with Louise providing constant care and attention. She sang to him, fed him, and kept a close eye on his breathing, fearing that he might pass away at any moment. One night, Louise noticed that Whisker had stopped breathing. Overcome with grief and desperation, she woke Matt and frantically told him about Whisker's condition. Matt, equally distraught, immediately sprang into action, trying to revive the tiny kitten. They performed CPR on Whisker and rushed him back to the vet. After several tense moments, Whisker finally took a breath, much to the relief and joy of the couple. The vet explained that Whisker had experienced a brief lapse in breathing, which could be common in kittens with this condition. From that moment on, Louise and Matt were even more determined to save Whisker. They continued to care for him around the clock, providing him with love, attention, and the best possible care. Their dedication and love for Whisker knew no bounds, and their efforts were rewarded when Whisker eventually grew stronger and healthier. He had overcome the odds and become a cherished member of their family. Matt sprang into action, performing CPR on Whisker with the skills he had learned. He positioned Whisker on his side and created a seal around the kitten's muzzle, blowing air into his nostrils. Despite Matt's efforts, Whisker showed no signs of response. Matt sadly concluded that their beloved kitten had passed away. As they grieved, a faint meow caught their attention. To their astonishment, Whisker was alive, looking at them with his big, curious eyes. Overjoyed and relieved, Louise quickly prepared a bottle of milk for Whisker, who eagerly drank it all. Seeing Whisker's miraculous recovery, the couple felt as though a miracle had occurred. They took Whisker back to the vet, who confirmed that he was indeed improving. The vet prescribed medication and recommended activities to aid in Whisker's recovery. The family diligently followed the vet's instructions, and Whisker's health steadily improved. With time, Whisker became more playful and energetic. He formed a close bond with the family dog, a Chihuahua, and they became inseparable. Whisker also showered his family with affection, often cuddling up with them as they slept. Despite his challenging start in life, Whisker had found a loving home and a family that cherished him dearly. After 5 months, Whisker had transformed from a sickly, tiny kitten into a big, gorgeous, fluffy cat. He had blossomed into a loving and gentle companion, getting along well with the other pets in the household. Whisker had a remarkable intuition for his family's emotional needs and often provided comfort and companionship. Many people were touched by the family's decision to care for Whisker despite the challenges, and they praised the transformative power of love and compassion.